well, I think that I need a manager, I need a lawyer, I need a
Right.
label, I need a publisher, I need a touring agent. Like, and it's just like, I just need. And to me, it's always like, take your time, because right now you have this incredible moment where all of those seats are empty, and all of those seats are non-negotiably important.
One thing that you said to me sticks out to me to this day, but you gave me some game and you said, there's 5 seats at the table for every artist in the music business. Do you remember?
Of course.
And what are
Yeah.
those 5 seats that you
Well,
said
I
at the time?
mean, the premise of that conversation
Yeah.
is, I don't think people really understand how valuable of a position they're in when an artist finds their purpose and their passion and their power.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, like something is working. I think I understand myself and it's starting to resonate, right? Like, now what do I do? Well, I think that I need a manager, I need a lawyer, I need a label, I need a publisher, I need a touring agent. Like, and it's just like, I just need. And to me, it's always like, take your time, because right now you have this incredible moment where all of those seats are empty, and all of those seats are non-negotiably important. You got to get every one of those things right.
Yeah.
Because there's a version of filling that seat that's like, yeah, I filled it. Cool, I checked a box. Or it's like, I filled that seat with somebody who's going to go above and beyond. And if you can fill every one of those seats with somebody who's not just going to, quote unquote, do their job, but actually like live and breathe your career and your success, now you're really setting yourself up for success. Because, like, the manager, like, the days of like, I got a manager, how is it? Well, it's pretty good. I mean, yeah, we kind of align, and we see the world through similar eyes. Like, that manager is going to be your co-pilot. That is arguably the most important person in your entire universe.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot like fill that seat with somebody that's going to be pretty good or really good. You got to fill that seat with somebody that's like, oh my God, like, I found my soulmate from a business perspective.
Yeah.
That's why the ecosystem around a creator, and a creator having the discipline and the clarity to know exactly what they need, and not taking any settlements or any shorts in filling those seats, is so important. And when we met, I say that to young executives, because, you have a very, very, you're a heat-seeking missile. You're a guy that, you're a guy that identifies what you want to get, and you go after it. And you are laser focused. And I just remember wanting to say that to you, because it's like, there's times to run, and there's times to really take a step back and really and not mistake motion for directed motion.
Right.
And that's that. I felt that energy. I'm like, these people are incredible. This guy's gonna run through walls for this artist. She is incredible. She is as raw as it gets.
Yeah.
In the best way possible. Like, holy shit. Like, who is this?
Yeah.
Right. I felt like she was just like, she came from like another planet type of talent. Right. And then she was accompanied by this just really, really, really focused. You wanted to learn. You asked a million questions, right?
Yeah.
And you still have that curiosity. That's why you have a platform like the one we're sitting in today.
Yeah.
To me, when we met, I was just like, these guys have so much potential. They got to get it all the way right. And the only way that it's not all the way right is if you allow people into those seats who just are not going to bring that 11 on a scale of 1 to 10.
And I know you're now a couple of years removed from the music business, and we'll get into what you're doing, but I do want to stay on this topic a little bit. And because you brought it up, I want to ask you, specifically because this podcast, as you mentioned, I think one of the most important things, if not the most important thing for me in this podcast, is providing value to the new young executive who's trying to get into the business. The truth is like you said, I had never had a problem asking a million questions, no matter how stupid it sounded. And I'd ask it 2 or 3 times just to understand it fully, right? But I know there's brilliant kids out there who don't have that, but are still amazing. But they get discovered, but some of them will. A lot of them won't. So this is why I create this platform, to like kind of uncover these questions that some people might have but don't know where to go, right?
Yep.
So I say all that to say, I'm curious to know from your lens, you did say that like you had an attention and focus, but as a 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when you met a young Mauricio Ruiz, like, what was I like?
It's really simple. You had what I like to call the burn the boats mentality, When you want to go conquer another island and you bring all of your troops and all your soldiers, you put them on the boats. The minute you arrive on the island you want to conquer, you burn the boats that you came on because you're not giving yourself a way to go back and retreat.
Fuck, it's so true you say that. I always say that there is no such thing as a plan B.
There's no such thing as a plan. By the way, I just want to touch on that point because I think it's interesting. I'll sit with, like, look, the entertainment space, I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's Hollywood, I don't care if it's digital content. Right now, more than ever before, everybody wants to be in entertainment. Like literally everybody wants to be in entertainment. And what people don't understand is what it requires.
Right.
So when I'll sit with an artist, I'll almost test an artist. I'll sit with them and I'll say, tell me about your dreams and your goals and your plans and like lay it out for me. Like, why are you doing this? Right.
Right.
And they'll give it to me and like, here's what they're going to do and here's how they're going to be successful. And I'll ask a million questions because I want to understand them. Right. And then I'll be like, that sounds incredible. But just in case this doesn't work out, what's the plan B? If they literally open their mouth to answer that question, like, well, my plan B is, if they say, well, my plan B is, I'll stop them immediately and I'll say to them, with the highest form of respect and love, you should not be in this business. You do not belong in this business.
Yeah.
If you got a plan B and if you got a plan B in this business, if you actually like, if this is not your oxygen, if this is not if doing this is not the most important thing in the world, where you don't feel like you're alive, if you're not doing this, don't do it, because that is what it's going to require in the environment that we have today, where everybody wants to be a singer, songwriter, producer, Twitch streamer, YouTuber, TikToker, whatever it is. Everybody wants to do it, right? And it's been democratized. Whereas before, when I was starting out, it's like, come on, you want to be a recording artist? Get the fuck out of here. Like where are you even going to get money to go into a studio, right? Today, it's like, oh shit, I just released a bunch of music, or I just did a YouTube series.
From my parents' bedroom.
Yeah, of course. I just turned the camera on. I was streaming last night. So
yeah.
The point is, I think that the stakes are, it's easier to get in, it's harder to make it than ever before.
Yeah.
So plan B, no.
And so, someone like myself, who you said I had a very burn the boats mentality, what are some other young executives that you saw that didn't necessarily have that mentality, but were like, no, there's something special about this? Like, what did you identify in those younger folks?
I think that some people really, really have a gift to understand and earn the trust of creators very, very quickly. I think that, someone like you, I saw as somebody that would move mountains for a creator. You obviously have a culture, aesthetical sense, musical. I mean, I've been in the studio with you. I know the way you think. I know how you can dissect songs. But I think that your superpower is your mind and your tenacity, and how innovative you are in getting to things. Other people, their gift is to actually really, really, really be the creative rock to a creative person, right? So we see some of our friends who are A&Rs where they're just like man, like just being able to uplift and help an artist become the greatest version of themselves is absolutely their gift.
Who's an example of that?
Chris Anacute, who you've had on here.
Right.
Chris, I think, is a perfect example. I mean, he's just a guy. If you watch Chris Anacute listen to music, like, you don't need to know anything else about him. Just watch him listen to music.
So true.
You watch him listen to music, okay, I know exactly who you are. Yeah. Some people are incredible, going back, just kind of like looking at other areas of brilliance. Some people are incredible storytellers and marketers.
Right.
Right? Like, okay, I'm very, very clear on who you are. Now I'm going to figure out a way to let the world know what the superpower of yours is. And they come up with ideas of how to put that superpower on display for the world to see and hear and feel. Right? So everybody, and then there's guys that are like, hey, you guys go do all of that, and I'm going to make sure that we make a shit ton of money doing it. And that's a brilliance.
Yeah.
Right? It all, you know what I mean? And the beautiful thing about life is that like the brilliance comes in so many different shapes, forms, sizes, and colors, and you win when you get people together that just complete that puzzle.
Yeah. So let's speak about that puzzle, because we're talking about those 5 C's. So you spoke a little bit about the manager.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the agent.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think that an artist should be looking for in an agent, or is it case by case?
I think it depends, right? Like, look, I think that, in my opinion, you have to figure out as an artist what your superpower is. So if you have somebody that is an incredible live performer. Not like I'm gonna do it because I guess I should sell some tickets. But like if you know you are there to perform, or you have a voice where like, oh my God, I can't wait to show this voice in a room or a stadium, right? Like then that seat becomes that much more important, because they are your partner in putting that gift, the voice, on display, or the performance on display, or the way you move and dance on display. So it just depends. You got to craft the team, right, based on what the superpowers are of the artist.
Yeah.
It's not a one size fits all.
Yeah. Okay.
It can't be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah. So if I ask you, what should an artist looking for a record label? It's going to be different for everybody.
I used to have people call me.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I got this rapper. I'm going to send you some music. I'm like, I'll listen to it. I'm like, this is great.
At what point was this?
I don't know. Probably until about 5 years ago.
Oh shit. Okay.
And let me tell you why I say that. Because I actually think the thing that I was telling people, the thing that people used to call and ask me about, they already know now. Not for no other reason than that. People used to call me and be like, hey, I got this rapper, the music. I'm like, this is great. They're like, which label should I sign him to? I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, which one does rap good? Right? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like the days of like back in the days, like, yeah, if you got signed to Def Jam 20 years ago, guess what?
Yeah.
You're gonna be going gold.
Yeah.
At the very minimal. Just getting into that ecosystem. Today, it's completely bespoke, and your job is so much more challenging because it's fragmented. You got to put a lot of different pieces together in order to make it stick. And you always got to go back to your North Star and your compass is what is special about the talent.
Yeah.
And I think people don't go below the surface enough to do that work to really, really find out. That's the hardest question.
What's the type of work that somebody needs to be doing in terms of that? Like, are you looking inward into those conversations?
Absolutely.
You're having constant conversations?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like to me, I'm having conversations. I've always had conversations with talent that I continue today, which is like, okay, like, if you're a superhero, literally, like if you're going to be like in the Avengers, what is your superpower? Like, what can you do better than anybody else? Where do you have like what is the word? Irreplaceable, kind of like you cannot replicated type of gift.
Right.
What can you do better than anybody else in the entire world, right? And I think that a lot of people don't know how to answer that question because they don't know, right? And then it's like, okay, what is your Achilles heel, or what is your kryptonite? If you don't become the most successful thing in the world, what is it about yourself that's going to prevent you? Right? Like, people don't ask those kinds of questions. What are your biggest temptations? Right? Like, where
Or they do, but they just don't do anything about it.
Correct. And I think that people, and by the way, this isn't just the music industry.
Yeah.
This is just people, period. I don't care what industry you're in. Like, people don't want to go and have those conversations with themselves, with others. But if you do, you're giving yourself a completely different benefit.
Yeah.
Right? Like now you're super, you have supreme clarity on who you are and what you're doing. And life becomes a lot more simple and a lot more direct.
Okay, Zach Katz, what's your superpower?
My superpower is identifying the superpower in others.
Okay. And what would you say is the Achilles heel?
My Achilles heel is... My Achilles heel has not gotten in my way when it comes to... I don't have a professional Achilles heel as much as I have a Achilles heel that affects me more on a human level.
Yeah.
I am way too hard on myself.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So professionally, it works, because it's like, shit, I'm gonna run through walls and do whatever, and practice 1,000 times a day and do all of those things to master that. But when you're living with that, like nothing is good enough in your own eyes,
that's a tough thing to do.
So my Achilles heel plays out more on that side of it.
But is that I hope you don't mind me asking this question, but is that something where, your day will be, things are going well, things are going great. Will you always find the thing that this could be better?
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm always looking. Nothing is ever really, really good enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. which by the way,
it's a good thing in business.
It's a good thing in business, like I said,
but it's tough on you.
It's tough on life. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have how have you been able to balance that over the years?
Just giving myself grace.
Yeah.
And trying to wrap my arms around the 6-year-old kid who got that idea in his head and give him some love.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is, going back and just, I mean, we're such a product of like those tendencies, in my opinion. Everyone looks at it differently, but in my opinion, you get that at a young age, and it's just like, that kid still comes out. That like, I'm not good enough kid.
Is that, because you come from immigrant parents?
Yeah, I'm Russian. I was born in Russia. I came from Moscow when I was 7.
When you were 7 years old. So when you say you're a 6-year-old kid, so there's a lot of that moving from, I mean, that's Soviet Union times, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it, at that point, is it collapsing or is it?
Yeah, it was still standing up. But to me, it was coming here, only child, not speaking a single word of English.
You're an only child.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, that's why we connect the way we do.
Yeah.